Hello and welcome back to part 2 of this week's TV Coast to Coast video chat. In part 1, we took a look at the epic Ken Burns documentary mini-series, The Roosevelts in Intimate History. Here in part 2, we'll talk about the TV week ahead. I'm Dave Walker of NOLA.com and the Times-Picayune in New Orleans, and I'm joined by Christy Turnquist of the Oregonian and Oregon Live in Portland, and Mark DeWidziak of the Cleveland Plain Dealer and Cleveland.com. Upcoming this week, we've got 2 return shows starting back on Tuesday, The Mindy Project and New Girl on Fox. Saturday, the HBO concert special with Beyonce and Jay-Z. But we're talking about new shows and the premieres of new fall dramas today. Wednesday, we've got The Mysteries of Laura on NBC with starring Deborah Messing and Red Band Society on Fox and ensemble medical drama. Then Sunday, Téa Leoni is in Madam Secretary. Christy, how did you like The Mysteries of Laura?
Well, I think I'm kind of a minority of one in that I kind of enjoyed this show. A lot of people are completely slagging it, and it's far from perfect. I will admit that coming right out of the gate. What this is it's an odd hybrid. It stars Deborah Messing as this, totally hyper efficient New York homicide detective whose home life is just as chaotic as her work life is all squared away. And doesn't help her smooth things out to have a pair of twin boys who are perpetual motion machines and a not quite ex-husband who's not really stepping up to do his part to help out. Now, the pilot is admittedly all over the place. I mean, it just wobbles from scenes of pretty bad overplayed comedy to scenes of, I thought, pretty funny comedy to then some ordinary yawn, procedural kinds of stuff. It's really kind of a mess, but I enjoyed it anyway because Messing seems to be having just a great time. She's got terrific energy. She's got great timing, and it kept me watching. I will give it another shot, and I know I may be the minority vote here, but I'll watch it again.
Well, no, you're not in the minority. I kind of liked it too, and I think it's going to settle down into being a decent show. A lot of the comparisons the network is making is to Columbo. A mystery, likable, essential character with a mix of comedy and mystery. That comparison doesn't really work. It's really closer in some ways to Monk than it is to Columbo, in the sense that on Monk, the comedy was always stronger than the mystery writing. The mysteries on Monk really weren't that good, but Tony Shalhoub's performance was always eminently watchable. In this, Deborah Messing is eminently watchable. You know she can do comedy. They give her a lot to do. So I agree. I think this has got a charm to it, and it has a possibility. Is it a perfect pilot? No, it is not. There is a lot wrong with it. It is, as Christy says, all over the place. But I can see that settling down. Pilots are generally Rorschachs, where you look at it and say, okay, you've got a lot of exposition going on. Where can this go? I can see this settling into being a very entertaining show.
Yeah, I think a lot of the criticisms are based on how she can have it so together at work and then completely go Lucy and lose it at home, the whole crazy redhead thing. But if you like Deborah Messing, I think you're going to love this show. That was my takeaway on it. And Mark, how about Red Band Society, which is altogether a different show?
It is, and this one caught me completely by surprise. I read the description of this, and I did what I tell my reviewing students at Kent State not to do. Not to prejudge something, leave the preconceptions at the door. I read this and said, I know, this is Glee by way of Breakfast Club. I know exactly what this is going to be. This is about a bunch of high school age students who are on a pediatric ward in a hospital. It's terrific. The performances are great. Everybody's playing it for real. It has a tremendous amount of heart. The pilot is just wonderful all the way through. It will catch you by surprise. If you read the description, like me, don't take it on the description. It is better than the description. It is far better than the description. And it had me in the first 10 minutes, and it continued all the way to the end. I thought it's one of the most promising new shows of the fall, by far.
I felt pretty good about it too. I thought there's it's auspices. It's from Amblin. It's a Spielberg show in part, and he's got some pretty good track record with medical drama. I think the tween target audience. I'm not sure if that's going to work for all viewers, but I thought it was a really well-made pilot. Christy, did you like it or not?
Well, I think I was a little distracted because it seems so influenced by the YA market, you know, the young adult fiction market. Certainly a recent example of that, The Fault in Our Stars, which is also about young people who are ill but don't want to be defined by their illness. And I think it's making a pretty obvious play for that market. But I think, despite being limited by, I thought a few too many gimmicks in the pilot. I mean, being narrated by a boy in a coma, the individual young patients all fitting into certain easily, you know, categorized stereotypes. It won me over because I thought the young cast was terrific, totally committed to the material. Octavia Spencer is in it, and she's great. She grounds it solidly. She's smart. She's funny. And it does have a lot of heart. I mean, how can you not root for teenagers to get well? So I think it's going to do well, and I would stick with this one also, even though I thought the pilot was, again, not perfect, but pilots almost never are.
Our third,
well, I don't know if it's going to do well or not because of what Dave was saying about positioning it and finding an audience. It is a lot of things. It is sort of a hospital drama. It is sort of a teen comedy. It's part dramedy. It's all of those things. It's none of those things and all of those things at the same time. It's not like any other pilot in this group this fall. It doesn't feel like any other show this fall. So I give it points for that. Whether it finds an audience or not, that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, Mark, sorry I stepped on you there a little bit, but I wasn't talking, and that made me uncomfortable. Our third drama.
I'm always glad to talk.
Our third drama this week is Madam Secretary Téa Leoni as a former CIA analyst and academic, and who's newly appointed Secretary of State. Tim Daly's in this too, plays her husband. He's great, and it's got a really good supporting cast, including Bebe Neuwirth of Cheers, who we know from Cheers, and then Zelko Ivanek, who we know from almost every show ever. The problem I thought with this show, and which it's a very well executed premiere episode, is that the writers are going to have to come up with storylines that will be fathomable to viewers, at least the work-life storylines, viewers who are bleary from watching football since Thursday night, and who maybe don't even know where any of the countries under discussion actually are. And by viewers, I mean me. So I think it's one of the shows that I'm actually looking forward to seeing grow and evolve a little bit. I'm curious to know what you guys think. Christy, what do you think?
Well, I think it has a lot of promise. Again, that cast is terrific. That cast really makes it work. It's interesting as an example of this current trend that we're seeing for shows set in Washington, D.C., set among the political world. It's kind of a hybrid, I think, of influences from Homeland to Scandal to House of Cards. It seems to be a moment for people to want to watch how the sausage is made inside Washington, D.C. I think this one, I don't know, it's going to have to find some sort of blend between kind of the overarching storyline, kind of the mysteries of what's going on behind the scenes, versus what happens sort of in the, you know, it's not case of the week, but kind of a case of the week model. I'm curious to see if they manage to bring off that balance, but I enjoyed the pilot. It was really professionally done. I think it's very much in the tradition of The Good Wife, not a Washington, D.C. show, but certainly an example of CBS doing a smart drama for grown-ups, and I'm always happy to see another one of those.
For sure. I think it's a really good fit with The Good Wife. Mark, what do you think?
I have a completely divided opinion on this one. As with the two of you, I love the cast. I hate the scripts. I felt like the scripts we've seen it all before. It has a very familiar feel to it. You feel like you know where everything is going, how the scenes are going to be played. The cast is going to give it a chance. The cast is so good, they almost make the material seem better than... No, they don't almost. They do make the material seem better than it is. And I think they're going to give it a chance to improve and get a little bit better. Of the two Washington Insider shows, this one isn't that bright compared to some of the things we've seen in the past, like The West Wing and Homeland and stuff like that. But it's a doctoral dissertation compared to NBC's State of Affairs. So I think this one's got a chance to at least improve on its feet, and that's going to be because of the cast.
Absolutely. So thank you both very much for playing along this time, and thank you all out there for watching. Next week, we've really fall into the fall season with lots and lots of premieres, and we'll be joined here by Vicki Hyman of the Star Ledger and NJ.com. Vicki joins the Crix Mix next week. But for now, thank you all for watching, and thank you, Christy and Mark, for talking. And we'll see you back here next week. Bye-bye.